I'd like to ask a question about the implementation of the ICAO requirement. In our previous panel meetings, we were told that mainly a lot of people are coming from India, since we have put together this advanced scheme. The number has dropped dramatically. Now, for those who are coming to Hong Kong by air and seek non-refoulement claims, do we have the dominant number coming from India, and what is the second dominant country? Para 19 says that in Canada, US, and Australia, they have expedited the clearance procedure as a result of this move. Now, for those who are coming to Hong Kong by air, and if these countries are not part of the ICAO, do they need to follow this API arrangement? Now, India and the second dominant country, are they party to the ICAO? Secretary. Chairman, thank you. Thanks very much, Mr. Chen. I must explain that under the non-refoulement claims, there are two categories. The first one have to do with the IIs. The second category has to do with those who are allowed to come to Hong Kong, but they overstay. For India, they don't have to come to Hong Kong with a visa. If they're granted permission to come to Hong Kong, some of them overstayed in Hong Kong. Since the introduction of the online registration system, the number has declined by 90%. The number of Indian people who overstay and seek non-refoulement claims, the number has declined by 90%. This measure has proved to be effective. Now, for the two top countries, the recent figures dig up the latest figures for Mr. Chen, but overall, over the years, the top two countries are Vietnam and India in terms of non-refoulement claims. Now, for Vietnam, mainly they are illegal immigrants, and for India, they come to Hong Kong, they overstay in Hong Kong, so that the measures have proved to be effective. I will get hold of further information from Mr. Chen. As regards the implementation of the ICAO requirement for the airlines to make available the advanced passenger information prior to their arrival to Hong Kong, we are basically targeting the airlines, whether the airlines host countries are parties to the ICAO, or whether they are supposed to fulfill the ICAO requirements. As long as we are empowered under the law to do so, it doesn't really matter whether they are parties to the ICAO. It is not a factor to be considered, and we can still penalize them, and they have to make available the API. Now, for the UN, they have made the requirements in the context of anti-terrorism that prior to departure of flights, there should be advanced passenger information to make sure that those who are not supposed to be permitted in will not be